We are on, sir.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Okay, Dhaya. What is that?
A melon is a symbol of Dzogchen.
Dzogchen.
Yeah, it's like your inner mirror. The mirror that is perfect since the beginning, represents your true nature and reflects everything.
Yes. And me getting in touch with you has been very related to that,
Yes.
right? I have had this fascination with Dzogchen, and it's something you hear a lot in. It's very popular term, but you are also you're quite opinionated when it comes to Dzogchen and how it's taught. At the same time, I hear you talk about that, like in all religions, you see Dzogchen. So I'm curious, when you talk about Dzogchen, what do you mean? What do people get wrong, and what's so universal about it?
That's a big question. No? I say that Dzogchen is everywhere because Dzogchen is in us, all of us, all the time. It's just that people are not don't have the knowledge of it. They don't recognize it, and then they don't have the knowledge of it. So in some tradition, they will say this is a God inside us. This is the Tao. This is the Christ inside. This is the Buddha nature. It's the same. So that's how we say that it is present in all traditions of the world, but maybe not taught in such a way. But if you look at the more mystic tradition connected to religion, you can find.
So you're saying that whatever Dzogchen teaches, it's in all religions.
Dzogchen is not a teaching.
It's not a teaching.
Dzogchen is your true nature.
Is your true nature.
Yeah, but then you have methods to access Dzogchen. So, and Dzogchen also it means like your perfect state.
Your perfect state.
Yes, like with all the qualities, compassion, love, sharp presence, wisdom, bodhicitta.
So when I hear this, it's like I hear a lot of words. I hear perfect, true nature, love, and so forth. And I'm at least before I've been very analyzing mind, and for me it can sound like woo-woo. It's like everything is love, everything is this, everything is that, and I hear a lot of pseudoscientific claims around it. And I'm curious, like, how do I tell whether something is true Dzogchen or is not true Dzogchen? Because I hear you talk about this quite a lot, and there's this paradox, it sounds like.
Yeah, in the sense that, if I will say true Dzogchen, it's not that one is better than the other, because it's all the same, but it is because sometimes people put Dzogchen in other context. So then when you put it, for example, with the Vajrayana, because originally it's not part of Vajrayana, it came later, then you have all the tantric practices that we say they are secondary practices. So then in this sense, when you're blending all this, I might have the tendency to say this is not true Dzogchen. But Dzogchen is Dzogchen, so it cannot be alterated. But it's just that it's put into another context, and then it might be diluted and perceived in a different way. As you take the original teaching, for example, from Dhaya Dorje, there's nothing else. It's just Dzogchen.
Interesting. So I'm still interested in the fact that you are referring to something very specific with Dzogchen, right? And you talk about that at the same time it's referred to in many different contexts. So if I am looking at this video and maybe I googled Dzogchen or something like that, and I want to get the true thing, you know, how can I tell whether it's true Dzogchen or it's angling at it in a direction that might be misleading?
Yes, what I see today is many people approach Dzogchen, I would say, a bit too much at the mind level, intellectual level, not the pure minds, the intellectual level. So there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of philosophy, but starting to go with it. This is, I would say, this is not Dzogchen.
Okay.
Because Dzogchen is based on experience.
You
know, you build your inner knowledge through your experience. If you don't have this experience, you cannot have Dzogchen. Even if we speak about your true nature, Buddha nature, natural state, Rigpa, you can speak about it for ages, but this is just mind, playing with mind.
Yeah.
So it's easy I'm using the word, sorry, fool yourself, mislead yourself, pretend that you are in natural state, but you are not. Just because mind, I study this is this. So you create another mandala, another hologram of yourself in a Dzogchen way, but that's not the way that Dzogchen function, because it becomes Dzogchen only if you have the experience of it. Before it's all talk only. So that's why we have a direct introduction with a person that is living Dzogchen. So he can point out, that maybe you're sitting and then you are daydreaming. Oh, you are daydreaming now. And you observe yourself. Oh, yes, I was daydreaming. So then it becomes knowledge that you were daydreaming. So from this base, then you can change. But if you don't have the pointing out of this, then maybe you daydream all your life.
Okay.
So it's the same for the natural state. Or I have all this idea, I have to be like this, then I am natural state.
Yeah.
You can create that with your mind, no problem. Mind is very powerful, you can do everything with mind. But in the incarnate way, fully incarnate, the knowledge of it is another story.
Cool. So what I'm hearing you say is there is a difference between the mind level understanding of Dzogchen. Like on a mind level, you can understand that this is it in some sense, and you can tell yourself this is it, and that's freeing in one level. But it's like I don't know what's a good analogy. It's like you can't just dip your toe, you can't just dip your head, you need to dip your full body to know the water you're in, or something like that.
Something like this, yes.
Okay. And you're talking about that it's important to be in person for that.
Yeah, because when you are in person, you, like we say, the mirror here inside is very activated. More. You cannot lie to yourself. Because in general, the teacher, even if he doesn't say anything, his presence will reflect back to you. And then you're, yes,
Okay.
Or if you illusionate yourself, you might have the teacher or the person that is a practitioner but has more knowledge than you. He can do something that makes you click.
Makes sense.
So then you are there, and then you get out of your dreams and illusions.
So, like an online course in Dzogchen, you wouldn't recommend that?
I don't recommend that.
No.
This is I'm old school. What to say, because I believe, if you have integrated something, my words are not required in some ways. My body, my cells are speaking. The radiance of my being is going towards your cells, but capturing and go, this, they go,
interesting.
And then start to react in your being, maybe not on the moment, but after some time.
Cool. So you just said something very interesting. You said that there is something about the in-person context that makes the body have a fuller understanding and certainty.
As an experience.
as an experience.
The experience become after understanding, but first it's the experience that counts.
Interesting. And out of personal experience, it sounds like there is something there, right? At the same time, if I'm trying to take my science hat on, I get very curious what this is, you know.
Well, this is like it is explained in quantum physics.
Quantum physics?
Yes, because you took two cells or two atoms, you know, they are not far from each other, but you make one experience something, the other one is going to have it.
Okay.
So it is this connection, it's a united field.
Yeah, it's, from my understanding of quantum physics, that's something which, I don't know how accepted that is necessarily, and this is kind of a topic I'm very interested to explore, because I know I'm conscious, right? I have an experience of things, and if we explore how physics, the theory of physics works today, there's no explanation necessarily for how this originates.
Yes,
right?
Correct. Yeah.
And which leads me open-minded to phenomena like you're talking about. At the same time, we don't have many. It seems like science is a bit stuck, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, if you were to collaborate with scientists or physicists who are really open-minded to like, there is something here. There might be something with being in person with someone, and there's some transmission, and it might be more than just kind of psychological aspects of it. Where would you lead them to explore more, to get scientific experiments that prove this stuff?
For now, I cannot say.
You cannot say.
Unless I am in a relation with a person that is presenting something and carrying an energy, and my being is going to react, it means have a reaction, you know, like if we have the ball and she goes percuted there, you know, as a reaction, and through the alignment of my being, I get some answers, I get some message, that is going to lead to more.
Okay. So you have some sense of internal resonance of truth when it comes
it's not even say it's internal resonance of truth. It's like in a modern way they say united field of consciousness.
Okay.
So you have this field that is connected to all the beings who are into this field.
Okay.
Or even if they access it temporarily, you know, but they are there. You know, if someone who comes in the room and is connected to this field, I know right away. I don't need to look, I feel it.
Interesting.
Because so it's this principle.
Because that's if a traditional scientist hears that's a big leap, right? And I feel when it comes to practices like these, I've personally from personal experience have enormous benefit, but from a scientific point of view, I can't know why certain theories are held in this tradition. So I'm curious. Let's say, as we said, someone Googled Dzogchen, maybe tantric Dzogchen even. That tantra is a very popular keyword, and they come from a Western secular context. How should they relate to these kinds of concepts? Because it seems to work on some level.
Yeah, because it's not a concept.
Yeah.
Now you're asking me something, I have to speak with conceptual mind in some ways, because otherwise we cannot communicate with voice. But they experience directly. You know, it's only by the experience. Everything I say doesn't matter. So unless the person is there and touch this place in themselves, you know, and the teacher in general is there to help the person to touch this thing in themselves. Yeah. Not towards the teacher or anyone else. It's you with you, you know.
So would you say that maybe you hear from a friend that he worked for them, maybe you get some glimpse yourself, and then you need to take the leap, maybe, to until you get a personal experience in this. Or
yeah, you don't know. Life is as an infinite potentiality and different, infinite ways to manifest things. So
makes sense.
Different for everybody.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, I find it very fascinating that there's so much to explore.
Yes.
In this from a scientific point of view, and at the same time, just because something experientially feels like something, just because blue feels like blue, on a physical level, it's a bunch of frequencies, and,
exactly.
and it might not be. It might be counterintuitive how that mapping looks.
Yeah, I didn't
check
with the machines.
No.
The frequency, I can only feel the frequency and feel what is similar.
Nice. And to end, someone is interested in Dzogchen.
Yes.
They want to find a teacher.
Yes.
How do they go about, and they get sufficiently committed to actually find a one-on-one teacher to work like this. At the same time, you see scandals. You have Tibetan lamas having scandals and so forth. How do you decide a teacher to work with?
You follow your heart. You follow your intuition. You follow your feelings. When you are looking, maybe like you did. You went on YouTube and you look at a bunch of things and you saw me, and then you feel connected. So you have to feel this kind of connection. This is the most important for any kind of teachings, not only Dzogchen. You need to feel connected with the teacher. And then after you can double check what he did, but the connection with the teacher is the most important.
And is there any kind of question or thing you would check? Because I think if you would ask some of the students of some teachers who had scandals, they would at least feel like they follow their heart on some level.
Not necessarily.
When
I say follow their heart, it means they are not cut into not trying to fulfill a part of themselves. For example, if you are missing to have this is more like psychology, you are missing to have a dad, then you're going to look for a teacher with like a dad. So you be attracted to this personage that has a certain image that for you it represents this as a good dad, but it's not a good teacher necessarily.
Cool. Yeah.
Neither a good dad.
Makes sense. So thank you, Dhaya, for going through this, and I want to say having worked with you has been very, very fulfilling, and I follow my heart, and I feel like you are a great teacher. And is there any last thing you wanna say?
Yeah, I would like you to share about you a little bit. So we put things in a context, because the audience has heard that you have very much a scientific approach.
Yes.
And Oliver you are 21 years old. Age is very important, because with the accomplishment that you had in your life so far. So can you give just a brief introduction?
Absolutely. So I've been in technology startups since I was 15, essentially, and throughout this period have been very, very interested in artificial intelligence and how we can actually answer the biggest questions, like from a scientific and philosophical perspective. So on a work level, that led me to start a company when I was 17. We raised over 20 million in funding, and I went all in on that path. And simultaneously, I had a lot of hardships throughout this period, and kind of felt that the spiritual aspects, for lack of a better word, was something that was missing, but I also was searching for something that could be a good mix with my kind of scientific rational thinking, because I felt a lot of things were actually bullshit out there in how things were framed and so forth. So throughout this, I found Dzogchen through Sam Harris, who I guess you would say might have a more heady
I'm not saying
approach. I don't know, and then I started this exploration in Tibetan Buddhism. Essentially, I've done a few retreats, and
there's one thing I would like to hear from you is more like when you left on my 16.
Oh,
I know, because this is more like the seed of all the scientific development.
Oh yes. So 16. So I've been very interested in technology, as you can hear, and at 16, around there, I got very fascinated by Singapore and the research that was done there, and actually booked a flight ticket without my parents knowing, and it was kind of like the movie Catch Me If You Can, if you've seen it. You know, I just went, they didn't know, and I started a bit of my life of my own there, and got a research position there, actually. Yes. Research assistant.
And between this time up to now, you know, now you are doing talks, like,
yes.
you know, United Nations and then TV in Sweden.
Exactly.
So what are these talks about?
Oh, yeah.
In brief.
In brief, it's about the development of artificial intelligence and the risks and benefits of that. And I think a lot of people right now don't know the fundamentals well enough of why we're seeing, for instance, ChatGPT being so good at a lot of things, and they don't understand the growth trend we're on. And I think it kind of ties into this, because as more the technology grows, the more society will be chaotic, will be more into our phones and technology, and we need to find a balance and find a way to kind of go back to what's most essential about being a human, I would say. And I feel Dzogchen is really pointing onto that in a very, very interesting way.
Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.